Happy Wednesday, King of Kings. Top 5 coming at you again. Episode 342. We're coming strong today. Top 5 comedy movies of all time. With me always, Mr. B, my co-host. How we doing, man?
Man, in honor of some movie theaters even opening back up, we got Marcus Majestic doing that here in Omaha. It is time to talk some movies.
Yep. It's been a while. We've had a bunch of great guests. We started just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Back to just the two of us. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, it feels right.
All right. One caveat before we get going. We know some of these movies have strong ratings. Viewer discretion is advised. We watched these years ago growing up. I know on my list at least. So anyway, just caution if you are going to watch these movies. Some are rated R. So heads up, viewers. Mr. B, how did you approach your list?
Man, I found some lists of all-time greatest comedy movies online, and I just went down, and every one that I'm like, have I like either like had shot liquid out of my nose, or laughed hard enough that I cried, or maybe peed a little. I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and then I narrowed it down from there. But I have I've laughed at a lot of movies. There were like 22 on my list.
Do you have that list of what made you pee somewhere that we can see and publish or whatever?
Yeah, well, I'll publish that later we'll have another top 5.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It was hard for me. I got a similar list of 20 something down here as well. Looked over a couple lists. I think one thing for me was, did the movie maintain the same humor level from when I watched it as a teenager, 20-year-old, whatever, to now? There's some I've seen again, especially, not a giveaway, but some of the Adam Sandler ones that I saw as a teen that I just love because of that period. I watch now and it's like, oh, that's still funny, but it's just not the upper echelon for me. So that was kind of my approach.
Right on.
All right. Movies you hate. Let's hear what you got. You got one or more in that category?
Yeah, so we're going comedy movies in this top 5. And so the comedy movie that I really struggled with, and I especially struggled because the first one wasn't that bad. First one wasn't great. It was Grown Ups. Grown Ups was okay. It was pretty clean. It was pretty funny. It progressed fine. And so I enjoyed it. Then in Grown Ups 2, you add some characters like Shaquille O'Neal was in that movie. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. And it was miserable. It felt like they just put together like 40 like scenes unrelated that they thought would be funny and then try to clump it into a movie, and it was miserable.
Yeah. And those are the ones that the previews get you, because the first one was good and they throw in some actors and you're like, oh great, I'm in for this one too, and it just stinks.
Worthless. Yeah, they made that movie in like 2 weekends probably. Grown Ups 2.
Right. All right, for me, it was when I was serving in student ministry in Texas, and all my students loved this movie. I think it was mid to late 2000s that it came out, something like that, maybe 2010. Napoleon Dynamite. The worst movie ever. Everyone raved about it. My wife and I watched this movie. There might have been 1 or 2 chuckle parts because of the slapstick comedy. And then it got to the credits and we were like, this was not funny at all. So maybe Napoleon Dynamite doesn't even belong in the comedy category. It belongs in the boring, overrated category. Napoleon Dynamite, gone.
Yeah, I think, Mike, that Napoleon Dynamite requires just a different sense of humor than yours. Maybe a little less analytical and a little more CBD-ish. I think Napoleon Dynamite, it made my top 21 list or so. Some incredible lines, incredible characters. Uncle Rico throwing a ball over the mountain. Man, not my top 5, but I think you're missing the mark on Napoleon Dynamite.
All right, that's fine. First disagreement, that's on. Honorable mentions, what you got?
I have 3 honorable mentions, and this was really hard for me to narrow down, so I did 3 honorable mentions. My first honorable mention, this is one of my favorites from my high school years. This is called Barbershop. Barbershop had like Ice Cube, Cedric the Entertainer. That movie made me want to name my kid Cedric, and I was never able to get that name through. But
Carissa shot blocked that baby name.
She did. I mean, I also love Cedric Sabalas, an NBA player, man. I was like, come on, this is a great name. So Barbershop, one of the honorable mentions. Another honorable mention is, this is one of those that's rated R, but Step Brothers. I thought Step Brothers was super good. The closing scene where he sings "Por ti volare," is like hilarious. And John C. Reilly's like on the drums. It's just so that's my other. And then my third honorable mention, you dive into the deep underground of male modeling, Ben Stiller and Zoolander.
Okay.
Oh, I love Zoolander. I even like the next Zoolander that came out, even though like nobody liked it. So
Yeah.
those are my 3 honorable mentions.
All right. I love Ben Stiller, man. He's got some classics. Meet the Parents, Dodgeball, Zoolander. I mean, there's a lot of good ones that were kind of my next 15 comedy movies.
Right.
All right. My honorable mention, I also have 3 movies, but it's in a category, old classic Chevy Chase. Freaking Chevy Chase, comic genius. So I'm talking Vacation, Christmas Vacation, and an unknown one, Fletch. I don't know if you've ever seen Fletch, but man, that is hilarious. Chevy Chase might show up again on my list. Little tease right there. Number 5, take us to it.
Yeah, number 5. This is another one of those people that are you love him or you hate him. I love this guy. He's outrageous. His name is Jack Black. In my number 5 movie, this is a great family flick, School of Rock. It is hilarious. It is feel good, and just combines 2 of my favorite things: the ridiculousness of Jack Black and music.
Yeah.
So School of Rock, my number 5.
Definitely a funny one. I can see you guys having some similarities, just like big acting, like character. I could see that. My number 5, polarizing movie. My wife hates it. I love it. The Big Lebowski.
Whoa!
Jeff Bridges as the dude. You got John Goodman with the Vietnam flashbacks and the rules. Steve Buscemi, classic. The Rug. Man, I love the character Jeff Bridges plays. The Big Lebowski. Hilarious.
Wow.
You ever seen that one?
I don't know that I've ever seen that entirety. I've seen clips, but like that didn't even make my top 20-something list. So maybe I need to check that out.
Maybe we need to have a date together and watch that sucker.
All right.
Number 4.
Number 4. This one goes back a little bit, but fantastic stars: Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short in The Three Amigos.
Okay.
Every single line of that movie is one that you need to listen to. So if you haven't watched Three Amigos in the last however many years, check it out. It is comedy gold, very clever, very smart, even has a few music pieces along the way. Fantastic stuff.
I think also when you go back and see these old classic movies, you realize how many quotes have translated for decades beyond it. And they're still being said in my vocabulary today. Number 4 on my list, an old one also, harsh rating, viewer discretion advised, Animal House. Animal House, college campus, John Belushi in his prime, outrageous scenes, laugh out loud so much. You might have a little John Belushi in you too, kind of a slapstick, just big character. Animal House, love it. Number 4.
You know, that was one of those movies that I had never seen, and I think it was actually you, Mike, who were like, you should really watch this. And I think our friend Steve Roberts encouraged me to watch it too. It was good stuff.
Definitely good. Number 3.
Number 3, this is a movie that combines one of my favorite sports, golf, with the ridiculousness of Adam Sandler. Happy Gilmore. Oh my goodness. Happy Gilmore is fantastic, dives into the world of stuffy professional golf and throws in Adam Sandler, who's doing advertisements for Subway, putting with a hockey stick, getting in fights with Bob Barker. Happy Gilmore, fantastic stuff. Number 3.
That's in my next tier, man. I love the training for hockey next season. He's taking batting practice off his chest in the batting cage, and then the kid goes in there and gets just lit up by it. Adam Sandler, that's probably my favorite one he does. I also love Big Daddy. That's a really funny one. Billy Madison kind of lost its humor over time with me, but Sandler, he gets ripped on sometimes. He's got some classics. Number 3 for me, you already mentioned this actor, Talladega Nights. Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly, the prayer scene at lunch with Taco Bell, your favorite, KFC. Man, that is a classic. When he gets the knife in his leg, thinks he's paralyzed, and Michael Clark Duncan's in there. That scene is just brilliant. So many great scenes. Talladega Nights, love it. Number 3.
Yeah, I remember seeing that movie in the theater and walking out being like, where have I been for the last 2 hours? It's one of the strangest movies I'd ever seen.
Number 2, what's on your list?
Number 2. Now, this is not only one of my favorite comedies of all time. This is a seasonal comedy. I love the movie Elf. Elf with Will Ferrell, family friendly for sure. Another one of the just fantastic lines. Like every line is a winner throughout that movie. Even the secretary answering the phone call and being like I don't know. I guess I can declaw your kittens. I've never done it before. And the movie is just so good. Elf, number 2.
Yeah, the joy that Will Ferrell brings in that, just the humor, the innocence. That's in my next grouping. I love Will Ferrell. I love Elf as well. Man, we have not crossed over yet. I'm kind of surprised.
I know.
My number 2, you mentioned golf movie and humor. I thought you were going with Caddyshack. That's my number 2, Caddyshack. Classic Chevy Chase. You have Bill Murray. You have the Gopher, the Judge Schmales. Incredible. Just those lines translate. And so much of that movie was just improv by Bill Murray and Chevy Chase. So Caddyshack, number 2. It almost was number 1. I love it, man. Timeless.
You can tell that just the handful of years between you and me, it's making a difference with our lists. Because I love Caddyshack, but that was one that was when I got older, it was oh, you should watch this movie.
Right.
Because when I was a kid, it would have messed me up or whatever.
Well, and we couldn't watch that. I had older brother, 8 years older than me, so I think some of these movie ideas, Animal House, Caddyshack, that was from him and his influence. Right. But again, viewer discretion advised, folks. Take us home, man. Who's number 1?
Number 1, I know this will be controversial. Some people despise this movie. My wife is one of them. She said it's one of her least favorite movies of all time.
Come on, baby. Come on. Oh.
Nacho! Jack Black. You've already said, I think I do really want to be Jack Black, parts of me. I love that movie. Just so ridiculous. I know I'm gonna get some crap for this, but that movie, I mean, get that corn out of my face. There's no other movie quite like it. It dives into that lucha libre, and he's a monk, and he's not supposed to be wrestling, but there's an actual baptism in the movie.
True, that's true.
Yeah, it's a Christian focused, Nacho Libre.
I think Christian focused. That's probably a stretch.
It's very much a stretch. I just wanted to get some people on my side.
Okay. I love the wrestling aspect. I think it was in Mexico, right? The Mexican culture was right. Awesome. Right. The way Jack Black owns his body. I mean, Will Ferrell's kind of that same way where it's this is who I am.
That's
take
right.
it or leave it. It's decent. Pastor Brackenor loved that movie. We watched it on the World's a Fun trip every time because it was clean, which is a great thing. It's decent. It's all right. Nowhere near top 5 status, but here we go. I'm shocked. This is the first time we have not crossed over one name, I don't think, ever. Number 1 of all time, Dumb and Dumber. Jeff Daniels, Jim Carrey, legendary. The dog cleanup, the hamburger scene, I mean, the tuxedos, the owl thing, the money, the Samsonite, the 2 pairs of gloves the entire time. So quotable, so timeless, maybe polarizing a little bit. Dumb and Dumber, number 1 on my list. Viewers, we'd love to hear what you think. Comment below. Let us know where we got it right, of course, where we got it wrong. Mr. B, final words, final thoughts on my list?
Man, I'm telling you, your list is solid. I think almost all of them made my big list. But there's so many great movies and I think that other people are going to make top 5 lists that won't include maybe any of ours that we stated. So I'm excited to read what you guys have. I'm not going to call anybody old or a witch this week. Love you all. I heard your flack on that one and I deserved it. But thank you for all the commenting you do and how you get involved. It's been so fun. Let's keep it going.
Yep. Comment below. Have an awesome week.